Hey everyone. I wanted to talk to you about something called the value for value economy. It's something I've been thinking a lot about over the last few days, and I think it has really profound implications for the way we make a living and interact with each other. The idea here is that you get value for value that you provide. And that sounds really simple, but if you think about the way our economy works right now, that's not really how it works. The amount of work you put into something isn't necessarily corresponding to how much value you're getting back. And for example, there's plenty of jobs in our society that provide a lot of value, like taking care of elderly or sick people, but they don't get compensated how they should. So it's a very arbitrary system of compensation that we have. And the other problem with it is that we are totally dependent on companies that we have no control over to make a living. So usually we assume that what we love to do is totally incompatible with what we need to do to make a living. So the value for value economy is really about flipping all that on its head, and it's about paying people for what they really love to do because that's what's actually providing value. On a spiritual level, that's what gives us value is our interests and dreams in life, and we need to be practicing that on a daily basis to have value as human beings, and we should have an economy that rewards that and values that appropriately. So, why I've been thinking about this recently is I'm actually in the middle of a training program to become a Bitcoin developer right now, and that's also a really big part of this is how are we storing value as a society? And we're using US dollars to do that. We spend a lot of our lives making money and we barely ever think about what we're actually earning with all that time. And we're earning something that we have zero control over, which is the US dollar. And the fact is, a very small group of people that work at the Federal Reserve have pretty much unilateral control over our currency. So why are we giving our lives over to something that other people control? And this is actually how we are locked in a system of financial slavery. We are slaves to whatever policies the Federal Reserve decides on. And Bitcoin was created to erase that system and get humanity out of this slavery condition because Bitcoin replaces arbitrary control over our currency with mathematical concepts that work the same for everybody who's participating. And it also allows for peer-to-peer transactions. So there's no way for us to send dollars directly to our friends or family or anybody. It always goes through a third party. And why should we have a third party intermediary in the middle of every financial transaction that we ever make? So Bitcoin also removes that third party intermediary by allowing for direct peer-to-peer financial transactions. And these two things are really revolutionary and also combined with a third thing, which is that Bitcoin is a scarce resource, whereas US dollars can be created totally arbitrarily by the Federal Reserve. They can make as many dollars as they want whenever they want to, whereas Bitcoin requires a lot of energy to be expended to produce new Bitcoins. And thanks to my friend Alexis for helping me to understand this, the word currency, it really means currents and energy currents, and it should be a store of energy and value. And so it makes sense that new Bitcoins can only be produced by expending large amounts of energy. And then the idea is that you can earn a Bitcoin if you put a lot of energy into something. So if you put a lot of energy into something and produce something valuable and worthwhile, then you should be rewarded accordingly with a currency that you can actually own and actually mean something. Then you become the holder of the currency, and if you need something done, then you can pay somebody else to do something for you that's also valuable. So this is what the value for value economy is all about. It's about transferring energy between different people and honoring the energy and work that people put into things and rewarding them for that. And having a currency that actually allows us to do that directly. So that's what an economy based on Bitcoin is all about. So how this relates to me right now is I'm in this coding challenge to learn how to become a Bitcoin developer. I have a history as a web developer, and I've always loved working with computers. That's what I really enjoy doing. Obviously, I have a lot of other interests, and I don't want to sit behind a computer all the time. But with this project, most of the work remaining also requires specialized skills. And just like there's no way for somebody to replicate the years of work I've put into becoming a web developer, and there's also no way to replicate just my natural interest in being a developer or in working with computers. there's also no way for me to replicate learning all these skills specific to building and making a property beautiful and abundant. So I would love to pay people who have interests and skills in those things. And that's what I have been doing. And this is how this structure has been built and how this beautiful mural was created, because I was able to pay people who I know who cared about the work they did and provided actual value to build my home and make it beautiful. And that's what I want to keep doing here. So the idea is that I can work on Bitcoin projects. I can provide actual value to a service. I just told you why Bitcoin is actually valuable to our society. And by me working on Bitcoin projects, I'm providing a service to anybody who uses Bitcoin, because I'm either improving Bitcoin itself or I'm creating applications to make it more usable or user-friendly. And that's benefiting everyone who's using this currency. And then in turn, I will earn Bitcoin for that. And then I will pay people here with Bitcoin to help me with what I need, which is setting up rainwater harvesting projects around here and finishing the house and doing it in a really beautiful way that is going to inspire me and it's going to inspire other people who come in here, and creating a house that actually is a place where I want to spend time and can find peace and introspection. That's what I value, and that's what I want to pay people to help me with. So I would love to make Cochise County the center of this value for value economy. This coding challenge has been really difficult. It's a huge career transition to make. Despite my background, it's a lot of new concepts, but I've been working really hard at it. And there's an idea in Bitcoin called proof of work, which is basically if you put the work in, then you earn the result. And so that's what this program offers, is that if you put the work in, you'll get the result. So there's no guarantee that this will actually happen and then I'll get a job out of this. But I'm going to give it my best shot. And if I do end up getting paid work through this, then you're going to see the results here, because this place is going to become really beautiful, and it's going to be filled with art and self-sufficient projects. We're going to be using the land to provide our basic physical necessities, and those are all things that I have zero experience with. But I've met all these amazing, creative, talented people, and very curious and people who like to look into these things over the last year. And I intend to spread the value I earn from my work to all of these people, and it's actually going to benefit everybody. So that's the economy that we need to create. And this economic model can actually help the world a lot, because it's incentivizing people to do what they really love. And to have me be able to do what I like to do, and then bring in all these other artists and permaculturists and builders to do what they love to do, that's way more efficient than me spending years to learn each one of those trades individually, and then or just hacking it myself and coming up with a worse product. So this economy incentivizes all of us to do what we love to do, and it allows us to make a living doing that. So that's what the value for value economy means to me, and it really can make a healthy society again, because like I said, right now we are totally divorced from the source of our income. It's a nameless, faceless corporation, and we don't really economically interact with each other, and it's not really possible for us to do that directly. So that's my take on this. If you found that interesting or have ideas about it, please let me know. I really want to make this the theme of the year for me, 2026, and I'd love to start to see some of this actually happening this year. So that's it for now, and I'll talk to you later.